I'm Philip Stoddard. I'm a resident of South Miami and I'm a professor of biology at Florida International University. I'm running to be your next mayor of South Miami. And the reason I'm running is that we have a lot of work to do in this city. And unless the residents pick up the work and shoulder the responsibility, we're not going to get the city we want. As I walk around the neighborhoods talking to the residents, there's a bunch of issues that keep coming up with people. One of them is that everybody wants the neighborhoods protected. Nobody wants to see a 4-story behemoth going up next to their 1-story house. Another issue is that people are really tired of speeders coming down through their streets. And having slow speed limits is great, but we need some other method to keep the speeding down. Taxes are a huge issue with people. Taxes have doubled in the city in the past 10 years. The city's budget has virtually doubled in the same amount of time. We absolutely need to keep a lid on the taxes. It's our money, and we need to keep from increasing our taxes any further and ideally lower them. A walkable downtown is very important to people. Also, being able to bike down there is important. You want to be able to go downtown in the summertime and not roast to death, and you don't want to get run over when you're out on your bicycle. Being able to call the police at 3 o'clock in the morning when something's happening outside and have them show up in 2 minutes is great. That's part of the reason people move to South Miami. But our police force has been under real pressure. They've seen their take-home pay cut successively over the past few years. Half our police force has left for other municipalities that are paying better wages and compensation. If we want to keep our police force, we have to take better care of the police themselves. There's another issue on the horizon. The lease at the Winn-Dixie is changing, and the city may lose its only affordable supermarket. We have a lot of elderly residents who can't drive. We have some residents without cars. They walk to the Winn-Dixie in order to buy their groceries. If the city loses its only affordable grocery store, where are these people going to be able to buy food? When I'm elected mayor, I'm going to start working on a series of reforms to the city. There's 2 key things we need to reduce and prevent corruption. The first of these is transparency. Money does not pass readily underneath a glass table. I'd like to see all of the city's business transactions and check registers put on the web for citizen oversight and auditing. The second of these is term limits. If you prevent elected officials from staying in office too long, it makes it very difficult for them to start seeking out private interests. The next thing we need to do is to create a new position in the city. This is called an ombudsman. This is a person whose job it is to take the complaints of residents, take the concerns of residents, and see that those complaints and concerns get addressed in a timely and professional manner. When you call City Hall, you should call one person. That person will write down your name, take your complaint, sit down with you if necessary, and make sure they find the right staff to address your problem. They'll keep track of your issue, and they'll respond back to you and let you know when that problem has been solved. If your problem can't be solved easily, they'll help you refer that problem to the commission or the city manager so your needs get addressed. This is part of why you live in a city of 2.5 square miles and 10,000 residents, so you have a responsive city government. We have some great opportunities in South Miami. This is a city of bright and energetic and engaged residents who are willing to contribute their time to making the city a better place to live. We need to stop bullying our citizen activists and start putting them to work for the betterment of the city. I'll create citizen advisory groups. These are different from the existing boards that we have that are appointed by the mayor, but any citizen can serve on these groups. They can put their efforts and their energies and their talents to use, focusing on the things that really matter to them in the city. The trees that are going into the city are mostly oaks, and oaks are great, but we have an unprecedented opportunity in this city. Half the staff and former staff of Fairchild Tropical Garden live in South Miami, and these people are willing to volunteer their time to make us a world-class arboretum in our downtown. 1/3 of our downtown space is concrete for parking. It's an oven down there in the summertime. We could have a tropical canopy that makes South Miami a gorgeous place to live and to work, and a destination for visitors. South Miami residents are also interested in renewable energy. Pinecrest is looking into something called the Berkeley model, whereby city financing is used to help residents afford solar energy in their houses. The residents want to keep our services. We want to restore our police force. We want to keep our taxes low. We don't want speeders on our streets. We don't want high development. We know we're facing inflation. How are we going to pay for all this? The city has got to stop wasting our tax money. The city took out a $15 million bond for a parking garage downtown. Most of the residents I talk to don't use the garage and don't even know where it is. The city has an $11 million shortfall in the pension fund, half of that accumulated on the current mayor's watch. We've got to start paying back $1.1 million a year for the next 5 years if we're going to stay out of trouble. The city spent $5 million for the pretty brickwork outside of City Hall. That job, we're told, would have cost about 1/3 of the price, done to state standards. The first $5 million of CRA funds disappeared without anything to show for it. The city spent $2.7 million on a 1-acre parcel about a quarter-mile north of the post office. A similar-sized parcel just sold in Pinecrest for a quarter of that price. We paid vastly too much for that piece of land. Now the mayor wants us to pay $15.5 million to Florida Power and Light to bury their transmission lines up US 1. And we're not even going to get the power from those lines. Why should we be paying FPL $15 million to protect us from something we're not going to use? As our mayor, I'll start the city on the path of long-range financial planning. I'll work to take better care of our police officers so they can continue to keep us safe. And I'll engage the residents of South Miami in a smarter growth plan that protects the quality of life we already have here in the city of pleasant living. But for this to happen, I ask for your vote on February the 9th. Please vote for me, Philip Stoddard, for mayor of South Miami. Thank you.